Hi everyone and welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and this is episode number 39 of The Focus, a live stream dedicated to all things 1/6 scale related. We're going to jump straight into it now. We have Brendan, aka The Collector Without Fear, and we have Alan, aka The 6 Scale Gallery. Brendan, how are you doing?
Good, good. Happy to be here.
Good stuff. Thanks for joining in. I was complimenting Brendan on his... It's a burgundy? I think it's a burgundy. Colors are
Yeah.
lost without me, but I'm a fan of the that style of hat and scallies. And the man in the camo today, we have Alan, the 6 Scale Gallery. I'm a sucker for camo as well. I snowboard and helmet is camo, so you can't see me when I'm in the trees.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't.
the orange pants give it away. I will lie. It will. What's
Yeah,
the story? How are you?
pick a lane, Shane. Do you
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
hit
It's like,
first?
do you want to be seen? Do you not want to be seen? I think years ago I saw this. Oh, I don't know what it was. It was some like I think it was something to do with like a construction meme or something. That had this guy and
Yeah,
he had a camo shirt on, and then he had like a high vis jacket, and that's exactly what it said. Pick a lane. Do you want to be seen or not? So I'm gonna stop talking absolute crap now. How are you, Alan?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm good. I'm good.
Good stuff. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you for having
So
me.
no problem, anytime. Really quickly, I'll just address the chat here, and we'll get stuck into this. So we have Noble Young was here, the first in. We have Some Guy. We have Shiny, who says, miss that dislike button. Thank you, Shiny. Empire Strikes Again. Looking forward to potentially having a beer with this man at Star Wars Celebration. And we had good news this week, especially for me, because I'm going Friday and Saturday. I'm flying in very early in the Friday morning. I'm staying Friday night, Saturday night, and flying out Sunday. I only have a ticket for Friday, but they announced that this Friday coming, they're releasing other batches of single day tickets. So fingers crossed. I'm going to try and beat the internet and try and get a ticket for the Saturday. Tyria is here. Brandon Salad is here. Hey Brandon. Collector Joey is here. Connor's in the house as well. T-Ria, how are you? Mike, with all the exclamation marks. The late bloomer is here. Shiny is always here. It looks like a complimentary crew of crafty collectors. I've definitely been called a lot worse. We have hello, Winman42 is here. I hope you're doing well. Excellent stuff. Right, so what are we going to do today? Going to give you the old lesson plan here. So if you don't like what you see, you don't have to be held captive. So we're going to go really quickly through new videos, new live streams, news, and then we're going to talk into reviews. Do they matter or not? So officially, YouTube paid out December's super chats and stuff like that and revenue today, which means the final officially is €1,120.96 or $1,219.86. So that then in 1 week's time is going to be donated to Temple Street Children's Hospital from that kind of charity run that I was doing for the last Q4 of 2022. So thank you very much for that. That is official now, and I'm going to do a live stream maybe this time next week or maybe the 1st of February and just screenshot that donation or whatever is going in. So thank you very much. This review is up on the channel. This Thoughts on Bane spoiler. I just love it. Review on Loki, which I'm really enjoying. Myself and Alan spoke with FOMO last week, and then of course another live stream dedicated to Bane. We're going to jump right into this. So I'm going to start with you, Brendan. Is this a Kit Kat? I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, like I said, I think the controversy is just, is it two lefts or two right Kit Kats? Or no, I guess that's Twix. I don't know. But it does, yeah. I mean, again, from what I've been told or what I've gleaned from some other people online, it's part of an Asian film IP that I'm not familiar with, and like we'd said backstage, I think the character is actually called Joker. So I have no familiarity with it. But if it is that case where it's from an Asian film IP, it makes sense. I mean, InArt is a Chinese company, so they're and they're not licensed to. We get stuff through various resellers and stuff, over in the US or in Europe, but like we're not their main market and they're not licensed to actually sell directly to us. So it makes sense that they're gonna, hit the the Asian market IPs for films that we may not be familiar with, but we could see some cool new stuff. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. 100% agree with you. I suppose, like I said, I'm not even familiar with I'm not familiar with the IP or the movie, so therefore it's going to be obviously a pass for me no matter how good it looks. But like those movies out there that are kind of like those like foreign films that are just bangers, like the original Old Boy. You know what I mean? Like if they came out in something like that, and I saw a film, I don't know when it came out, 20 years ago, I don't know. But like if they did something like that, I don't even know what country that film originates from, but that's a bit out of left field. It's not your typical, Marvel, DC or Star Wars, but I definitely give an Old Boy a look, like, you know what I mean? Something like that. So
there's a lot to tap into there. I mean, there have been some really cool like horror and zombie movies coming out of Korea. China and Japan have a long history of really good martial arts cinema. So there's a lot of stuff that they can tap into that I think would be appealing to other markets too. So I'm just not familiar with this one. But at the same time, I am not a Lord of the Rings person at all. And that Aragorn really tempts me because I think it's the single best head sculpt I've ever seen. So, if you do it well, like Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. So
yeah. I just barely dodged a bullet on that Aragorn myself. I think we're in similar boats there. Alan, do you eat the chocolate off the Twix first and keep the wafer for last? Do you have that kind of discipline, or do you just like take the two of them and just munch? What's the story?
Right. Well, funnily enough, we bought some white Kit Kats. I didn't know white Kit Kats were a thing personally, but apparently they are. My little boy was eating one earlier and he took a bite and I said, "Oh my, can I get a picture real quick?" I said, "Just put it down for me." This is how he ate a Kit Kat. Just okay. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of both at this, just took a bite. Didn't break them.
Just took a bit straight off. Didn't actually like nibble around the edges or anything. No,
just wow, actual animal.
Yeah, listen, it divides people. But what did you know this IP?
No, when I saw this image, I immediately kind of hung around the InArt Facebook because I knew some people would comment and who did know what it was, and lo and behold, you had people saying, "Oh, Bruce Lee," basically just naming every kind of every Asian actor they knew and every Asian property they knew. It was like Hero, things like that. Until a bunch of people said, "No, actually, it's this particular film." Honestly, when I thought it might be Hero, I thought, like a Jet Li from Hero would be actually pretty bang. To be fair, that would be amazing. But no, obviously I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out, because I think the character's got like long hair, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes, like kind of
That's
like long straight hair. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what it is.
Yeah,
probably gonna.
So we know what that thing, like my first glance, I thought it was like a butterfly knife. Like
I think it's a box that opens up similarly to a butterfly knife. Okay. And I think the actual image is upside down. I think that might be the base, for the figure. Okay. From what I can tell. But yeah, I think it's some kind of accessory. There's an image that someone posted on the InArt Facebook group of the character holding this box. So
this conversation is making me want to go watch this movie, to be honest with you. Like that could be a dangerous thing, but
I mean, if it opens up, opens us up to it, that's surely a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
I mean,
love the
that's
look
what
of.
happens. I hadn't heard of the Kenshin films, and
Mm.
then the I ended up picking it up. I've got it back there. I think it was VTS made it, and it was like, you know, first kind of one that came in. I mean, InArt's doing it now, but like
Mm.
that had the sculpted forearms with the painted blood and this like fiery base. It was phenomenal. And I saw that figure and I was like, that looks so good. I have to have that figure, but I have to watch the movies first.
Mm.
And I did, and I really enjoyed them. So it got me into those like 4 movies and then the figure, just because I saw the artistry and how good that was. So if this, you know, ends up being really good, it could draw a lot of people to that IP, and then who
Oh,
knows
yeah.
what it does for sales.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
sounds
it's
good.
it's happening with the Last of Us right now.
Mm.
I think the sales of the game, I think in the UK anyway, they've gone up like 300%.
322%, I think they
Yeah.
said it, like
And that's
capped
just
out.
like literally just the power of mass media. When Top Gun was released in the 80s, there was a noticeable increase, a significant increase in people signing up for the Navy. When Ally McBeal was popular in the 90s, there's a significant increase in the amount of people who want to be solicitors. These are facts. I think Eeyore and Grey's Anatomy had similar effects on the medicine practice. And I have noticed in school a lot more people want to study chemistry because of Breaking Bad. And they realize, okay, it's not all fun and games, kids.
not all meth.
£2 super chat from the Empire Strikes Again. Thank you very much. You definitely don't have to do that, but the first round's on me. Looking forward to meeting you in person, hopefully at Star Wars Celebration. Just going to address some of these chats really quickly. Brandon also thought it was a butterfly knife. Ash Chase says, what up, everyone? I missed a conversation here. Is it about Kit Kats? Yeah, we think this looks like a Kit Kat. Shiny saying, I love seeing unfamiliar releases from big figure companies. The fans must be super excited. I'd say the fans of the movie are probably buzzing about this, because after, you know, seeing the prototypes that they've done, I'd imagine. But I suppose Westerners maybe not so much, unless you actually know the film, I'd imagine. I can never tell if Shiny's joking. He's joking 99% of the time, so like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take the comment seriously or not. But this is an odd image to try and get folks guessing. If it's an integral part of the movie, maybe not so much though.
I guess
like this
some
comment.
people are seeing this and being like, holy shit, they're doing it.
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
You
So,
can
like,
say
this-
composition wise, like from an artistic standpoint, it's not a very well executed photo. But if
it's almost like a
enough
bird's eye
that-
view or something.
Yeah, it's like upside down and like tilted. Like,
Yeah.
But if it's enough to get people who are familiar with it excited, then it serves its purpose. So.
There are 50 varieties of
Wow.
Kit Kat bars in Japan. You find them locally in your international market. Japan is on my list at number 1. It's nicknamed Japao as far as the snow season is. Like, they get like the best powder in the world. It's like a thing. Number 2, Wagyu. I think I'm pronouncing this right, or is it there's a
Wagyu
type of
beef.
meat? Wagyu beef, yeah. I saw that in some cooking show and I was just like, I want some of that. But yeah. So we'll move into the next piece of news here. I'm just gonna flick through. What do I have the next piece of news lined up? Yeah, I got this one here. I do believe I've got this one here. All right, so this is the next kind of announcement, tease. I'm not sure what you want to call it. So do I have it? I have it here. Okay. Not a film that I passed on the Batman and Robin, even though I think they looked amazing, and I don't think they're gonna make them again. I think they have all the makings of the future G-bombs. But anyone keen on this? I'll just open it up to the 2E and people in the chat.
They lost me with the spelling mistake in coming.
Jeez, I did not even see that until just now. Wow. Okay.
Neither did I. Like, but yeah, that's what you're strict.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
You mess up once, I'm out.
I need to look. I think I need to look at pictures of Jim Carrey again. I'm not sure this is as strong as some of their other teases, prototypes, or releases.
The hair's a bit strange, like the shape of it.
Yeah.
I think. Like
Was it as harsh in the? It looks very angular. Like was it as harsh in the movie? I haven't seen this movie in 20 years.
I can't remember. I know it is very similar to that, but not as.
I don't think it was as tall. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's the expression. Like I understand what they were going for, but it doesn't really. I think you lose the Jim Carrey in the expression, the way they tried to execute it. I mean, Batman Forever is a campy film. Like it really was. It was like a complete 180 from what Tim Burton did in the first two films. So yeah, it's not really a good film, but it's fun if you came up in the 80s and 90s and saw it in the theaters and stuff. Me personally, I don't need anybody else from the film other than these guys. So like that's good for me. I'm good. 6 scale Robin with a quarter scale bulge, for it. But these guys, they're iconic, and just standing as like a duo next to each other, they look cool. You don't need a dynamic pose or anything. So these two, I'm fine with. There was a third party a while back that made a Riddler and a Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face that they just looked horrible. And this, hasn't convinced me, because it's basically, from what it looks like it's going to be a generic 6 scale body with some kind of like cheap fabric sweater and pants that have like the question marks all over them. I don't think tailoring is going to be anything impressive on this, and then the head sculpt is like okay. So yeah, this will be an easy pass for me. As long as I have Batman and Robin, I'm good.
Cool. Yeah. This I think Batman and Robin, for me, like, if I had to get anything, I would go with the Batman and Robin, because I think they look so well together. I know that you have the Batman, Alan, and your vision, you were saying you're not going to get the Robin because you just want all the iterations of Batman. So I presume you're just waiting on Clooney with the back credit card. That's fingers crossed, yeah?
You know what, we joke, but I would take one.
Yeah. Would it come with the ice skates as well?
The
ice skates? Because they were a low point for me, I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
A fun little trick for the Batman Forever is that because it's got the rolling eyes system, you can roll the eyes all the way up to the top, so it whites them out. So then he's just got whited out eyes, like if you're reading the comics, where
That's
he
pretty cool.
predominantly has whited out eyes. So
Cool.
really liked that. I was like, so I did it, and I was like, that's how I'm leaving them. Looks great.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Shiny answering Winman42's question. It's from a film called, I literally just looked this up, and then instead of switching the screen, I just said, Shiny's done the work here. It's from a film called Chinese Odyssey Part 1, and Part 1 is called Pandora's Box, and the character is called the Joker. Yeah, funnily enough, played by Stephen Chow. Yeah, so that is the answer.
I mean, that's cool if it's Stephen Chow. He's very well known. I wonder, so it's called Chinese Odyssey, and then the first part is Pandora's Box. Is it like a Chinese take on like Greek mythology?
Don't know. I have no idea. I am curious. I'm curious to watch this, and also Warriors of Future. I've heard Warriors Future isn't great. But
that's the one that Hot Toys was making, right?
Yeah, I think those suits look amazing, but I don't need to be. There's enough stuff that I love that I'm already getting enabled on. I don't need to enable myself on some film I've never seen before. Although I am curious on these. I am curious. There must be a reason why they're making it. It must be like a cult classic or something. Like,
I feel like those like Warriors of Future or whatever it is. I feel like the figures that Hot Toys revealed, it's like, okay, they look like cool, just kind of like futuristic, like, they didn't look like anything that like wowed me from a figure perspective. So I don't feel like I'd be in danger of watching those, liking them so much that I have to then buy the figures. Where it was different with the Kenshin, for example. That figure looked so amazing that I was mostly sold on buying it before I even saw the movie, and then I watched them. So you know, sometimes you might be in danger of actually like, you know, oh, if I watch this and I like it, I'm going to want to get all the figures from it. But
Yep.
I don't think that one that Hot Toys is doing would endanger me of that.
Yeah. That sounds good. So I'm this is not on my radar at all. Correction. On Sunday morning, I woke up, I had 2 third parties in my collection, and now I only have 1 because Bane was offloaded for obvious reasons, and I've already pre-ordered the new one. I just believe it's significantly better than what I had.
So you had a third party one?
Yeah, I had the Daft. It wasn't bad. I still the
Daft Toys.
Daft Toys kit for the standard Bane, not the stock exchange one. A Fison M35.
That's exactly what I have.
I was happy with it, but it's just cool. Not. I'm blown away by what they offered, the new one. You know what I mean? So, just before I bring someone in here, Tiria, thanks very much for asking. I've never actually gone to. Actually, no, that's not true. I have been to Star Wars Exhibition 4, one in Dublin, one in France, but I've never actually queued up and got an autograph. But I think Gustavo Fring, Breaking Bad's my favorite show of all time. Like I am a chemistry teacher. Gustavo Fring is a man. So I think I might splash out for John Carroll. I'll see the price anyway because I know Leal's on about drinking pints. Like so, like I might need to save my money. Like, and you know when I was going over Leal and I was like looking at my my baggage, and I just paid. Because like I'm flying over with Ryanair. They're basically a cheap airline that gives you cheap tickets, but then they absolutely screw you if you want to, you know, use the bathroom or
it's
baggage
like,
or
it's
anything.
like Spirit in the US.
Yeah.
So I go over and I was like, okay, the bag I paid for, if I pack lightly, I'll fit a Hot Toys box in it just in case. You know what I mean? But like, I'm gonna be careful over there, man. I'm gonna be careful.
I ain't taking shit. I told you, like literally, the clothes I go with on my back is gonna be an empty suitcase. The thing is that the key is to go where everything that you wear there is plain sweatshirt, plain t-shirt, plain pair of jeans, and some sneakers, and you good every damn day. That's it. I'm not trying to basically go over there flashy and all that. No, I'm going over there with purpose.
Because people who see you multiple days could think that you just brought like 3 black t-shirts.
Exactly.
But if it's the exact same graphic tee, they're like, you didn't change your clothes.
Exactly, right? If you just wear like a plain shit, if you go over there in some plain shit, they just be like, okay, well, like he just likes that color. That's what basically he wears. You know what I mean? But if you go over there with a graphic, anything that they might have seen you wear the day before yesterday or on the stream, they'd be like, yeah, you wear that a tad bit too much, fella. You might want to kind of calm that down. And just, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'm not. I just refuse. I refuse to do it. We lucked up with the flight that we got over. I think you get one, you know, personal, one free carry-on, and then, you know, each you just pay for like the one bag that you get. And I think it's like $50 for the bag. You know, at 50 pounds per bag. And I'm like, oh, my bag's definitely going to be less than 50 pounds. So I'm like, you don't want to share? But then I'm like, well, it's going to be with Toys. So hell no, I'm not sharing because I know she's going to pack a whole bunch of shit. She's a female, so that's what she's going to do.
Sometimes it's cheaper to ship stuff that you buy, like to ship it and then, you know, and then just have it when you get home rather than trying to deal with it on the airlines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is true. This is basically true. I have this. Well, I don't have this particular version, but I have the Mars Toys Joker from '89, and I have no qualms with it. Is incredible. It's an incredible piece. If you look at it, it's not a complete deviation from the Hot Toys version.
I think they recast it. I think it's like the sculpt from the Hot Toys one that I have.
Almost.
I think it's like identical.
Yeah, the only gripe that I basically have with it is that with the Mars Toys version of it, the ankles are slightly loose. Like it's too loose, so you can't really stand it up. So you would definitely need a stand for it.
The Hot Toys one's not much better.
See, there you go.
It's because it's such an old figure. It's like a decade old. Like so even the Hot Toys one is not
same thing,
best.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean, it looks phenomenal, but you gotta have it just right, or you gotta use a stand.
Yeah.
This comment's making me laugh because Empire Strikes Again is based in England, so he knows no leg room. It's like there's zero leg room. It's like I'm pretty sure Ryanair, like, they're this close to putting those things in. Those things you have on buses. So it's like, do you want a seat or do you want a standing?
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to squeeze as much money out of you as you can.
It's like Spirit. It's the kind of airline where, like, the pilot
bus in
will
the
go out
sky.
to take a piss break and ask if somebody wants to take over for
Spirit,
him.
you never know what the hell you're going to get. Like, you just got to
You don't even
show
know
up.
if you're going to land in the right state.
Hell no. Like, you just mainly don't know. And then on top of that, like I said, unless you pay for the actual flight together, and then when you pay for it together, you have to actually select the seats, because if you don't, they'll seat you on 2 different spaces.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
you can
crazy.
pay. Yeah.
I hate that, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm
Ryanair
just
are like, okay, if you could just fashion your seatbelt and then we can all start pedaling together, So it's like
Flintstones, bro.
Yeah,
And those airlines will regularly, like, overbook flights and be like, all right, who wants to strap in on the wing? We got a pair of goggles for you. Like, because they just overbook them all the time.
Nah, I just and the thing is, it's like, it's hard for you to, like, because like a lot of people, when they get on flights, they always take pictures of them on the plane, and like they take like pictures of the outside window and shit like that. On Spirit, you don't do shit. You're like, I don't even want y'all knowing I'm on this damn flight. I don't want you to know.
That's funny.
But they have no incentive to improve, because their prices are so dirt cheap that people will be like, well, I'm gonna roll the dice. Because I'm gonna save a lot of money. And
and with Spirit, you're bound to see a fight in line every now and then. Like, almost every time you fly, there's a fight. Like, there's a major fight. So
I just heard my doorbell. I got a hot toy being delivered right now.
Ooh, I just had one delivered today. I got my
we got some live flexing, huh?
Yeah, I just got my
Well, it's a tiny flex because it's Queel.
I mean, that's still a flex. I just got my Axe Wolves today. So that's
right.
pretty
I
much
heard
it.
they were shipping, yeah.
Yeah, got that. But I'm still waiting on Cap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at your face.
I said, I had said to you yesterday, Leia, I was like, I really wish Hot Toys didn't drop that literally the day that everybody was taking off for the Chinese New Year for a week, because it's like, oh man, so now they released it, but it's not going to ship, and then you got to wait for companies to come back, and then they're going to be slow to get back into the, So yeah, I hope that I have my Cap by like February, but we'll see.
Well, see, the thing is, I want to get Cap so I can send it over to I got to send it over to Gallery and have him take the photos, right? Then send it back to me, and then send me the photos so I can say I did that shit.
It can be arranged, man. It can be arranged.
That's more work than if you just learned how to take the photos.
I know, right? and Alan's sitting there like, well, you can send it, but I'm not going to guarantee you're going to get that shit back.
It's gonna get lost on the way back.
Oh, shots fired. I heard Leia is funding the trip for Dan and Dre. So I heard Leia is funding a trip for Dan and Dre to make it out to Celebration. Good stuff. We're going to have a serious crew.
Who did we talk about the other day? What was the character from I forget the name, and he was like, she.
You're talking about from The Wire.
Yeah, right.
What's your man's name? What's the actual character's name in The Wire? It's a real Clay Davis. Clay Davis.
Yep. And every season it got longer, and he added like 6 more E's because it wasn't shit. It was she.
Damn.
And just kept going, and it got longer every season.
Empire Strikes Again. He got them all that he won from Figure Flex Friday, and they are they're dinging him for damn. That's fucked up. Really? That's some bullshit, man. Sorry about that, bro. That's fucked up.
I flew Ryanair London to Amsterdam once.
I'll be right
back. Very last minute decision to see a band in concert. It was like the Indiana Jones.
Damn.
Temple of Doom.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Cool. Justin seems to really love the new flying captain. I didn't watch the review. I'm not sure if I get the. Did he actually really love it?
I actually caught his review earlier today. He was very positive about it, but glowing, he did have some criticisms, like the joints for the flex portions of the wings, for example, are an unpainted gray plastic. So
Right.
like he was like, why couldn't you just like paint those so they match the rest instead of they really stand out? So he pointed out a couple of like, you know, minor drawbacks to it, but overall,
Yeah.
you know, and I agreed with what he said. It's an amazing figure. The sculpt looks great. The fact that there's that much articulation in the wings, I mean, it all looks really good to me.
What about this one? I'm going to say straight out, I'm personally not. I think it looks great. I think the head sculpt looks really good, and I like the way you get like 2 or 3 of them, I believe. So you got the regular
really?
Jack
Oh,
Napier.
okay.
You've got the makeup. He's look like there's a bit of makeup going on here, and then you have this part. I was always confused as a kid. Like, does he actually look like this, and he applies the makeup, or is it the other way around?
It was always confusing in the
Which I also thought was added to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his face was in the movie was supposed to be white, and he was wiping on or off the flesh-colored makeup.
To kind of
At least that's my
disguising.
interpretation.
Yeah.
I think they had to do a special kind of like makeup effect to get the effect of that he's wiping paint off. He's got obviously white paint on his face, and then he's got the flesh-colored paint on top of the white-colored paint. Do you know what I mean? I think they had to do a particular makeup effect to get that across. I can't remember exactly what they did, but I think it was
clever. Yeah, this is. I'm not going to pick this one up because like the one I want is the actual, just regular 1989. I think it's a DX08. I think I'm right in that. Goes for a pretty penny, but you can still get them now. And who knows? Who knows if they do a 1989 Batman like they have teased the 2.0 and branded 1989 Batman? Will they do a Joker? Who knows? Not looking likely. A lot of people are saying Jack Nicholson not playing ball. He doesn't need the money. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I think if I was to get one Joker from this movie, I might actually bite the bullet and work backwards on that possibly. But it wouldn't be this one. But I think this one looks great. Anyone else thinking about picking this up?
No. I have the 89 Hot Toy.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
I
all
love
you
it.
need, man.
And I got it. I mean, I don't know what the price is, what it's going for now, but I got it, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago, and I think I paid like $380 for it.
That's great. It is not going for that now.
It's much more than that now, yeah.
Yeah, it is not
so
going
I got
for
a
that
really
now.
good deal on eBay, like I said, about 3-4 years ago for it. So I'm happy to have that. If I didn't have that, I might be tempted to do this one. So I don't think anybody can go wrong. It looks like they did a good job with it. It's just, it's from a very specific scene in the movie. It's that museum.
Yeah.
I'm getting
You know,
this shit.
so-
I am
Yeah.
getting this motherfucker right here, boy.
I was like,
Ooh.
who's saying that? All right, we're
you-
gonna move us to the side. So this
Like Morgan Freeman, the voice of God. His face, but you just heard his, you know.
Did you ever see that picture where they compared Morgan Freeman and chocolate chip cookies?
No.
No.
Yeah, they had a close up on his
Oh,
face.
because
and compared-
yeah, all right, yeah, I got you. I
It's
got you.
fucking
Okay.
funny, bro.
Okay.
But nah, this right here, yeah, bro. I it's hard for me to resist because this was, again, we're talking about 89, bro. It's so hard. And the little birdie on the street is saying the Hot Toys is, I guess they're going to try to do one themselves. But okay, first the Batmobile they were trying to do, they didn't do that. You know, everybody is still basically waiting on, you know, Vulture. They didn't do that yet. You know what I mean? Like, do you really think?
They're not going to make the one from the Batman from
Nah.
2022. They did that just to try and scare Jazz Inc. and a couple others off of it.
Mhm.
They're not gonna do that, and I would be shocked if they did this one. To be honest, I really would.
This is so
Unless the
tempting.
sales for the DeLorean really do well. You know, I think if they're going to do vehicles, they're going to stick to like speeder bikes and, you know, stuff like that. But this thing, I mean, Yost does incredible work. This looks gorgeous. Ryan, Jedi Patrol, had messaged me the other day and he was like, so you going to do it? You can do it? And I was like, I really want to, but I don't begrudge Yost for the price for his work. It's phenomenal. So, and in the small batches, you have to, you know, you have to have those prices. So it's like 1,500.
Yeah.
I think is fair for what you're getting. But for me, I've said it before, I'm not really willing to dedicate that much space, in my collection, which I have limited space as it is, to 6 scale vehicles.
Yeah.
I could, the amount of space that's going to take up, I could put like a couple quarter scale or a third scale statue, So it looks phenomenal, but I just don't see myself biting the bullet on it.
See, I can't. Here's the thing, like the only way, literally, and I guess is where it creates a bit of an issue, because it's a tough decision to make, considering the simple fact that I don't even have the 89 Batman yet, and there's talk about it being re-released, but I don't have that yet. So am I going to push the button and just go ahead and pull the trigger on this and run the risk of not getting an 89 Batman and having to go down the line of going back and getting, the class or the version that Hot Toys released originally?
If that's your holdup, I wouldn't let that deter you, to be honest, because whether or not they actually make that 89, like put out that kind of 2.0 reissue, whatever you want to call it, of 89, I bet you they do a Keaton Hot Toy from the Flash.
That's the plan.
Right.
That's the plan. Yeah.
So he'll still go well with this, with this. So I don't, if that's the case, I wouldn't let it stop you from, from getting it. Cause you can still get the 89 Keaton, it's still out there. Like, the prices are a little bit steep, but you can still.
The thing is, I've heard stories about the figure itself, though.
It's a statue. It's not posable at all, and you got to get a custom cape.
Just like the costume was infamously.
It's
accurate. There's a reason why that gag is in the Dark Knight about turning his head. The DX-19 is a much more practical suit for fighting crime, apart from the cape.
And you look at
no one needs a cape fighting crime.
The number of times in that movie where he does like a full turnaround and like the cape flows versus he could have just been like this.
It's like he'd just been to physio and he had crick in his neck.
Yeah.
I wake up some mornings like that.
So it's as statuesque as that figure is, it's also accurate to what it was like in the movie. So, but if that's your main hurdle, I wouldn't let that stop you from getting this. For me, it's like, could I afford it? Yeah, and especially since it's not going to be out for probably a year or two, so you'll have plenty of time for payment plans or whatever. It's more just that physical space. Because if I got that, I'd have to build a display around that, because it can't just be off in the corner somewhere. It's got to have a prominent place. And if I can't devote that, then I don't want to get something and then be dissatisfied with how I get to display it.
Yeah, that's fair. Alan, your thoughts on this? Is I know that like you specialize a lot in portrait photography and amazing portrait photography. Just in case if people aren't, I'm actually going to throw up your banner there while I ask you this question.
Don't sleep on Alan. Alan is incredible. Don't sleep on Alan. It's fucking incredible, bro. Don't sleep on it.
It's very interesting when you lower your voice like this and you talk into the mic. You should really stop doing that. You're going to be on a watch list.
Not everybody can sound as smooth as Shane.
I do not sound smooth. I tell you sound smooth. Killer Cam.
Yeah, Killer Cam.
He's pub smooth.
Killer Cam all day.
I thought he was just like super smooth. Then he told us, he was like, no, just a lot of time when I stream, my daughter's asleep, so I gotta, He's really trying to keep it down low. Alan, what's the story? If it's not for you, it's not for you. But is this vehicles? I don't think you have any vehicles. Would that be correct?
No, I've got the back pod, and that's
that counts. Yeah,
that's all I have the room for, to be honest. As Brendan said, this is really the kind of thing that you build collections around. You know what I mean? You see those guys on Instagram, and they've got like
coffee tables.
Coffee tables. They've got like a giant like display. It's not a room. It's like I don't know, 2 rooms.
I'm gonna say one of the nicest displays actually is from Graham here, the Jedi Knights Watch. He said the Joker is tempting, and he said 89 is the pinnacle. Anything from this movie, I may be in. He has got.
That's fair. I get it.
Diehard 89 fan, I think we're all 89 fans, but he's a diehard fan. He has the Batmobile, and he's just standing the Batman 89 Batman just about maybe a third into it. That's all you need. Like
that's all you need. I would want it on a rotating platform. I'd want it to be spinning 24/7, just like rotating in the room, so you can just see it from all angles. And you like I said, it's just something that if I was going to get it, I'd want a killer display. And if I know that I just don't have the space for it, then it hurts.
I don't want to buy this just to have this in a box.
Exactly.
I think that's sacrilegious. Like, so
I have two quarter scale figures in a box that I can't display. I have 2 quarter scale NECA figures that I can't display anywhere, and they're just in a box, and that hurts.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's nowhere near the price of this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and this is. I mean, especially when you consider, like, I know people who have the 66 Batmobile that Yost did, that just got them recently. Phenomenal. Like, they're just stunning. So I have every belief that this will be as well, which makes it hurt more. Like, I almost wish it didn't come out well, so I wouldn't feel bad if I'm not having it.
My strategy on this is that I got really hyped, as a lot of people did last year when the summer showcase came out or whatever it was, and they did that thing where a bunch of things went into the coming soon page on Sideshow, and like, you know, if you're in the game for a while, you're like, oh, I'm excited, but we've seen this before. And 1989 Batman was there, and I was like, okay, for me, I'm gonna wait and see if they do that 1989 Batman. I don't think they're gonna do the back computer, but maybe they do like a 2.0 and they have that part of that bell tower base that they displayed it with, because then I could lock that in for like nothing crazy. And then you have time to decide if this thing on screen now is a possibility, see what it turns out like. But also, if they do this, who knows? If Hot Toys do a 1989 2.0, it is a possibility that they could go and do a Batmobile. Because then you'd have time, at least for me, the figure is the most important. And then kind of go,
exactly,
watch what happens, see where the cards fall, and then go, okay, let's say Hot Toys do it for 800, and then this is 1500. And then you kind of go, right, is this a possibility? Could I display this somehow? That's where I'm at the moment. But I don't think I
don't think the price would be at 800, because the DeLorean was like 800, and this would be significantly larger than the DeLorean.
But this is kind of a simpler. It's in a way, the mold is a bit more complicated.
I mean, I don't know what goes into the engineering of it to make it look as like clean and seamless, as it is. But also figure that they haven't announced it yet, and when they announced the price for the DeLorean, that was what, 1.5 years ago, so prices have gone up. So just by inflation, I feel like if they announced it now, it would probably be like at least $100 more.
This is comment of the night.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that earlier.
You don't need the figure layout.
You could that Vicky Vale is
anyone could be in there. I got the 2-pack.
That's funny.
There's a Vicky Vale there too,
you know what it is?
I'd rather them do Penguin and Catwoman from Returns from Hot Toys than go in on a Batmobile. I'd rather them focus on the characters myself.
For me, it's because here's the thing. I passed on the Justice Mobile. I passed on the 66. I passed on that. This, because I've always wanted it, I guess. The thing is, it's like you target the ones, we always say, you target the things that you love the most, not frivolously. You don't want to be a frivolous type of individual who just spends just because and everybody, but you target the things that you love the most. And because this is so significant, that's why it's hard for me to say I'm going to pass. You know what I mean? Because it's like when I look at it, I'm like, it may not come around again. I know that I'm building a display for the tumbler, for the Bat Pod, for everything else. It's a big display that I know I can actually fit this on. So that's where it becomes really, really tough for me to kind of deny it. But again, it always goes back to what we've been saying for the longest time. Only get the things that you love. Only get the things that you're invested in. Don't do it just because. That's
what makes it harder to turn something like this down, though, when you think about it, because we're older. We all have history with this film and this franchise. We, have been fans of the Michael Keaton Batman movies for literally decades now. So we've got more of an emotional attachment, you know, to those than we do a newer movie that came out in the last like 5 years or something, that even if it's a better movie or just looks cooler or something, it's still, but it's 89 Batman, you know, it's like, that's what you came up with. And so, especially in an era where you didn't know when the next comic book based movie you'd ever get would be. I mean, think about the gap between the Superman movies and, you know, and the Keaton Batman movies. So that's why it's harder to turn something down like this. Like the Justice Mobile looked badass, looked great. It was an easy pass for me to make, though.
Yeah.
This is harder. This is a lot harder.
This particular, like this, like I've said multiple times in streams, my collecting is rooted in my love of film, and my love of film can be traced back to this movie. Like this is the first movie that I remember loving as a kid, and I remember going, this is not like just a film for kids. This isn't a cartoon. This is like mom and dad like this as well. Like this could be like, it'd be okay for like kids, teenagers, like adults loving this. So I literally, the first film I was like, when I was like 6 or something, like watching this going, this is unbelievable. Like, you know, and where my love of Batman came from. And like one of the best Christmas memories I have is getting the, I think it was Kenner at the time, the Batwing, and you had the like little trigger on it. You the little like a whatchamacallit, like a handle underneath it, and the trigger. And when you pull the trigger, the little the scissors come out in the front of it, the canopy open. I was just
I gotta find it and I'll send it to you. I watched a couple months back. I watched this YouTube video. It was literally like an hour long. This dude collected literally every single toy that came out of the first two the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman movies. There was a lot more than I remembered. There were like literally like 100 of them.
Did he have that big duck?
And
did they do that big duck?
He had and he had everything from 89 and then I think Returns too. And he did a history of, and he went through and talked about all. It was so well done. It was like 45 minutes.
I'm gonna need that link.
It was amazing. I gotta try and find it. But yeah, it's like that was the same. I grew up with that. That movie was a you know, that, and then you know the next year we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was in heaven. It was like that was a really good stretch, and then Returns, and then
speaking my language.
What is this?
So it was a great time.
This is obviously we spoke about Bane, and everyone spoke about Bane, and we're all excited about Bane. So, but this is just, it said like this year this was the caption underneath Bane on the Hot Toys Instagram and Hot Toys official Facebook page. So this year is 100th anniversary. I just actually looked that up today. Yeah, 1923 is when Warner Brothers, films or studio or whatever was established. So this year is the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers. Hot Toys is revisiting characters from the Dark Knight trilogy with multiple features upgraded to improve accuracy. Now I know Lael is going to have an issue with this, right? And I kind of have an issue with it as well. And Lael knows exactly where we're going with this, but like this is the inconsistency we're talking about. They've knocked it out of the park with Bane. The question is, okay, they've done the Bane, and if they deliver the prototype on the prototype, it's significantly better. I think we realize that the DX19, it's not the most articulate figure, but it's definitely better than the DX02, and I think better than the DX12. The Catwoman, we don't know yet. Hopefully the material is better. The Batman Begins, they've done nothing with. They realistically, they didn't do anything with Batman Begins
at all.
No,
so
at all.
What are we hoping for? Like, what are we hoping for? What could they do? Because it seems to be the way it's phrased is revisiting. So that means they're going back to characters. I don't know. Does that mean they're just going back to characters? That it says Hot Toys is revisiting characters from the Dark Knight trilogy. Okay. With multiple features upgraded. So it suggests that they're going back specifically at figures from the Dark Knight trilogy that they've done before and making them better. There's definitely a bit of an inconsistency there.
I also don't think, I wouldn't read too much into this. The Catwoman is supposed to come out this year. So I think when they say characters from, my gut tells me that it's probably just Catwoman and Bane. Maybe they announce a 3.0 of the Joker.
I think that's inevitable.
But
I do think that's inevitable.
That in and of itself is really problematic because InArt absolutely crushed their version of the Joker, which means now there's actual competition, and not just competition, but amazing competition. So now there's a bar that they have to clear. Before it was just, we got to do better than we did last time. Now it's like, we've got to do better than this home run that InArt just hit. So so I feel like they would probably take even longer and put more time into that. But realistically, when they always do this, they'll announce something like for Star Wars, for like the anniversary of Jedi or whatever. But then it doesn't come out until 2 years after the anniversary. And this is the same thing. It's like, okay, the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, we're going to, go to the Dark Knight trilogy. But realistically, at best, you're only getting one figure during this anniversary year, which is the Catwoman, because they've already been working on that. They just announced his Bane. So he's 18 to 24 months out. Maybe they announce a 3.0 Joker at some point, but that's going to be another year and a half, 2 years away.
And we know Catwoman is pretty much around the corner, so we have to see how that's going to.
So, and we already got the DX19 and the basically just straight re-release kind of, or the Batman Begins. What else really could they? What else? Could they do?
I mean, they've done Gordon and Blake. They did that too.
Yeah. Are people clamoring for that though?
I think I know what they're going to do. I think I know what they're going to do.
Go on.
I think they have teased the transparent armory. I think now that they have the DX19 head sculpt for Bruce Wayne, it wouldn't be too much for him to slap him in a suit, give the transparent armory, and either pair him with some version of a DX19 or even a Michael Caine. They could do that. They've done it before. Just make him a bit better, tailor those suits a bit better.
Like an armory 2.0, but like a different armory.
It's a different armory as well. Yeah. So I mean,
but is there anything they could do that would get you excited from the Nolan trilogy? Now that
they've got me excited with they've got me excited with the Bane.
Right, but anything else other than Bane and Selena Kyle coming?
They did Scarecrow.
I think
the kind of the hallucination Batman,
the demon Batman. Like they could.
That would be pretty badass, but if they redid that.
I'm excited about the Bane, obviously. I would get excited if they did Scarecrow. Someone mentioned, it was actually, shout out to Hot Toys Hotline. They were having the same conversation on their show there, I think it was like a few days ago. And they said, someone suggested them doing the Scarecrow with the suit and then having like the, the mask, but like a Cillian Murphy head sculpt, but then having like accessory the straitjacket. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'd get a bit excited about that.
Cillian Murphy was great in the role, but I don't know if I'd get super excited about like just visually his look from the movie. I don't know if I'd get super excited about. I would much rather like a comic book Scarecrow like that.
But you have to understand. You have to understand. Like he's basically wearing a potato sack, and like you know us Irish, we go mad for potatoes, right? So like I see that and I'm like, oh, sign me up. I want to. You know?
The thing is, it depends.
I'm just gonna feed into the stereotypes here.
I'm owning the stereotype.
But I think what would bode well for that though is because we already know Cillian Murphy right now is on a tear, and people love him as an actor. And on top of that, anything that they can actually get from him, Peaky Blinders, what we're going to actually get.
People would just get it in Kit Bash at Peaky Blinders.
Or
with the head sculpt.
Or not.
Big Chief Studios have done Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, they did. They did. So, but the thing is, it's like, again, he's on a tear. On top of that, it just depends on how well they do it. The tailoring, the head sculpt, with the mask and stuff like that. If they were to do something like that, I don't think people would. But I mean, I think, basically they're going to stick to just the main characters, or probably just the main options in the IP, and just give us those characters. All we want right now is just improvement, and for you to basically give us what you promised.
Empire Strikes Again said, like, he had mentioned Two-Face and Scarecrow. Now, my question, did any of you guys get the Two-Face? Because the 2.0 that they put out, I was so massively underwhelmed by that. I thought the tailoring was it looked like just a straight line down the middle, and it was like this side kind of charred, and that like there was no gradation to it. And I thought the head sculpt was like
I jumped on it because well when they announced the DX19, I was like, well, I'll grab Two-Face now. So I think I got a kind
How'd
of.
you feel when you opened the box?
To be fair, I quite like it, but I know what you mean. Like the weathering is very kind of. I don't know. That is underwhelming. To be fair, I've seen that like some custom. Yeah, a little bit
undersized. I believe the DX19 was the first one where they increased the size and made it proper.
To be fair,
so wouldn't the Two-Face still be undersized?
I don't think he is.
Because Aaron Eckhart's not a small guy.
No, he's quite tall.
I didn't like the face paint, like the paint applications on the scarred side of the face. I thought it didn't look like wet and like raw enough. It looked just kind of like, it looked very plasticky to me. Like I wasn't really feeling the realism there like I did in the movie.
Yeah, I've definitely seen like repaints and things like that and customs that are better. But I mean, I quite like him. He kind of fills out the
but that was a 2.0, so I doubt they're going to be like, hey, 3.0 of Two-Face like now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it seems that's what I was kind of thinking. It's a bit too, even if it was undersized.
I don't know. A clean version.
It's too, but that's one face. Like you just,
it's just
my arch enemy, one face. Like
hey,
I don't know,
maybe they give us a Toy Fair exclusive 2-pack, and you've got Katie Holmes and Maggie Gyllenhaal. You got each one as Rachel.
Yeah.
Who knows, the recast 2-pack? But
it's a good question though, Brennan, because even when I was listening to Hot Toys Hotline, I was like, okay, what do I really want them to do? Okay, I really wanted them to not mess up the Batman Begins. They didn't do that, right? I'm really happy with the DX19. Okay, I know that I say like I'm looking forward to the Bane. I think I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. And I have the Daft Toys one that you had too. Hot Toys is they're in a really weird place right now because of everything going on with DC. This is the 100th anniversary, so they should be like, we're gonna hit that DC IP really hard, and we're gonna tap into that love that people have for those IPs, and announce and release a bunch of figures. But the only movies that DC and Warner Brothers have coming out in the 100th, in their centennial year, are movies tied to a universe that they are then scrapping, that they're killing. You've got Aquaman, Flash, Shazam, and I think one other one that are just, they're admitting up front, like, hey, these movies don't matter because we're rebooting everything. So that's a hard place to be in when it's like the centennial year. Hey, it's not surprising that they're going back to the thing that was the most successful for Warner Brothers and DC, which is the Nolan trilogy. Yeah. I just don't know how deep that well is at this point.
Yeah, the only things I really like, the ship has sailed on the Begin suit. Like I said, happy with the DX19, buzzing about the Bane. I'm actually waiting to see the Catwoman drop. I want to see the reviews. I want to see, because I'm aware there's sculpted hair here and then it's rooted hair at the back. I want to see if they've changed the leather suit because it was notorious for peeling. I'm excited to see if they do a 3.0, because maybe that 3.0 is a nurse, or it's a nurse Joker, or
the nurse Joker. I can see
robber, or like, because maybe they'll throw it out of left field and just go, okay, instead of directly just doing what everyone thinks they're going to do and put out their version, so people inevitably compare it to an art or whatever. Maybe they do a nurse Joker. I don't know, but I'm still excited. Whatever version of Joker. I said it to Leal before. If it's from the Dark Knight trilogy and it's out there,
it wouldn't be hard for InArt to do that when you think about it. They've got that amazing sculpt. They've got the seamless forearms.
Yeah.
You think they would give us another Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I really like Gary Oldman as well. Like
I don't have that in my collection, so I would get it.
In the SWAT outfit. He's got the gun and
that, or just like a suit, just kind of, or like from any of the 3 movies, an iteration of him. I would take it. I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't have that in my collection, so I'm happy to have it. It wouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between, oh yeah, I'll get that, versus I want that. You know what I mean?
True. True.
Which actually, this kind of ties in. Just when you're off camera there, Layla, I was saying like I'm waiting to see how the Catwoman turns out, to see how the rooted hair sits and how if they fix the suit, because I know it does peel
the
before ordering it.
If they kind of if they revamp the sculpt, we don't know. I mean, so far, like here's the thing though, because I don't know, because we know that they're kind of just throwing around the whole PERS technology now. No, but there was no hint of that with this figure. When they dropped it, it said nothing about it. And I think that's what I'm afraid of, because they did the same thing with, Batman Begins. There was no, you know what I mean? They didn't say any type of retooling. They did say, what was it, a reissue? So they did it.
Yeah, they said,
a reissue.
That figure made a lot of people more nervous about Catwoman, because they're like, wait a minute, they just did that. What are they going to...
So that's what I'm wondering. Are they looking at that response? And I wouldn't even put it past as if they decide to delay that figure even more until they decide to do it at least right. But you're right. Like I said, I'm hoping they can retool those things, because it would make sense. And that's one of the figures that I'm really, really looking forward to. So we'll see.
Linda Carter, I would love it.
Oh my God, man.
If somebody did that. I would love it if in art. To be honest, I would rather in art. I love Gal Gadot. I would rather in art do Linda Carter first before Gal Gadot, just because I want that figure. I want that. I've been waiting 6 months. I still don't know when it's actually going to get here. I really hope it does soon. But I have the Prime 1/3 scale Linda Carter statue coming. I love Linda Carter. Okay. I've loved her for a very, very long time.
Sounds serious.
I can
serious.
Actually,
on my end, it is.
Bro. We can feel that passion, bro.
On my end, it is. I'll tell you. So I would absolutely love.
Get my ass kicked. Toy watches this shit.
I would love for a 1/6 scale Linda Carter. I don't know. Well, I don't know what the market would be for it, but I mean, the 6 scale collecting community is a very niche community as it is. So I think it could still be profitable. But yeah, I would absolutely love it if somebody tapped that well. Definitely. That sounded dirty, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, why'd you you had to make it. You always got to make shit weird.
So about 5 minutes ago, I said, I haven't ordered the Catwoman yet, but it's a Nolan trilogy. I can never rule it out. By default, if something gets released, whether it's in art or Hot Toys, I am always going to take a look. I'm always going to be interested. I mightn't get everything, but I can't just rule it out. So I am interested in a Catwoman, but I said I'm going to wait and see the reviews. So that's a nice segue into reviews. Do they matter? I'm just going to sit back. I'll give my thoughts at the end. Alan, I'm going to put you on the spot here. You ready to go, or do you want me to go to one of the boys?
Yeah, I'll go.
You good? So give us your thoughts and opinions. Reviews, do they matter to you? Is it something you watch?
Yes. It's a tough one, because I do watch them, but I watch so many, and there are so many amazing reviews out there. By the time my figure turns up, I feel like I've seen everything. Yeah. And because I watch reviews, I tend to watch them over and over and over again, just because I'm hype about it, and I'm like, looking at how different reviewers like them and things like that. But as I said, by the time I get mine, I'm just like, oh, I've seen everything. All I need to do is take it out the box. Do you know what I mean? Yep. But I still watch them. Like, I watched Graham's review of, talk about 89 Batman, of that, and the Returns Batman as well. I think he did both of them. Just to see it, because I know I'm not going to own them unless they get reissued. So seeing those those reviews of older figures, I quite like doing that as well. Like Dean Knight, some of his older reviews, for stuff that I'm never going to have. It's quite nice to have that. Mm-hmm. But for newer figures, yeah, I think, I mean, as I've grown older, I put less stock in reviews in general, especially like film and video games and things like that. Because I don't know, I've kind of realized that I'll form my own opinion on it, and sometimes reviews spoil things. As I said, like with figures, you know, they spoil the kind of the unboxing experience, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, you want a surprise, like.
Yeah.
But I'm going to counter that. What if your surprise was Tony Stank?
Well, that's I was just about to
surprise,
and I was kind of surprised at that. Yeah. With these like day one reviews, I think because we've already like a lot of the times we have already put money down for them, or we're about to. You know, we see the blogger pictures come out and stuff, and we've got that money, especially if it's something we've been really waiting for. You know, we just need to see it. We just need to see how it turned out. Like, is it bad? Is it good? Yeah, I watch them, and I'll carry on watching them, and I watch different people's reviews for different things.
Do you get value out of them? Would you say, like, the time you put in watching reviews, would you say you get value back?
Yes, I would say, because it does kind of alert you to certain things. Yeah, I know I've just been bashing them, but like it does kind of alert you to certain things that you need to keep in mind. And you know, I saw a review of the In-Art Joker I think it was like last week, maybe it was the day or so before I got mine. And I was talking to Brandon Salad about it, and this particular reviewer said something like, "Oh, it's crazy how only one sculpt has the moving eyeballs," and I was a bit like, "Oh, I thought they both did." So me and Brandon were having a bit of oh shit, like has only one sculpt got it? Because when I was thinking back to like Justin's review, it was only ever the coat version where he moved the eyes, and I was like, oh, maybe there's some truth in that, but there's no truth in that. So I think, you know,
so both versions have the rolling eyes. It's just a mistake he made.
It was a mistake, and I think, you know, he needed to have it for in hand probably a lot longer than he did to get, you know, really kind of used to it, and
I get you.
You know, work these things out and not give false information out.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Brilliant. I'm just going to address Super Chat before I move on to Lael then. Rackman Chris, thank you very much. It's very generous. In-Art Warner Brothers license. I want Goonies cast more than anything. Yeah, just so that what's the guy with the
Chunk?
God.
Oh no, Sloth.
Sloth, yeah. And I believe Josh Brolin was in the Goonies as well. It's been a long time. But
Josh Brolin was Brand, the older brother.
And was Samwise Gamgee.
Yes.
Yeah,
younger.
Man. Yeah. Again, Rackman Chris, In-Art Warner Brothers license. Big fan of the Goonies.
Correcting
here,
his misspelling there.
There you go.
Appreciate
what
it.
is it with the misspelling today? Alan was picking up on the coming soon part of the Riddler, and you're
comics.
Jesus. Yeah, harsh, tough crowd. Lael, so like reviews, do you surely you watch them, but like, would you find you get values from? Do you have any opinions, positive, negative? What?
No, I think they're very highly informative. You know, when done correctly, they're really informative. It's really good to get different perspectives from different individuals. Sometimes you got to kind of pick your spots because you don't want to see the same thing done twice. And I think that's one of the reasons why I bowed out of doing reviews and I just stuck more with just posing, you know, more posing videos. That's the lane I want to kind of stay into. But I think that they are highly informative because, again, it gives you, if there's a figure that you don't, you know, if you're on the fence about, you know, if you're not really sure, you know, you want, you know, another person's take or their honest opinion on it. And that's when I say honest, I really stress honest. You need an honest opinion, not just because a person, it's not for the moment. You have to get an honest opinion on it. And I think that's why they're highly important, you know, for your decision going forward. You know what I mean? You don't want to spend money on something that's a complete dud. Batman Begins, but I know what I'm using that figure for, and I just decided until I get a cowl for it, I'm just going to use the first night out sculpt and just, you know, do it a certain way. But yeah, I mean, I think they definitely have a place. They're highly important. I mean, I mean, to be quite honest, you know, reviews and stuff like that are how a lot of people got their start. You know, a lot of even us following those reviews, how we started live streaming, because we watched that, we, you know, kind of got enticed by it. So they're definitely important. You know, they definitely do matter. It's just that, again, you want to get the honest opinion, and you need to get that confirmation that you're being completely honest, about the reviews that you're actually giving. And yeah, I mean, that's it. And that's why, like I said, I leave it to people like that, because they are giving their honest interpretation, and they do it well. Like people like Justin, people like Ryan, people like, so many individuals out there who do reviews, that have been doing it for a very long time. I definitely appreciate that. And it kind of inspired me to say, you know what, let me step away from it and let them have their lane, because I'll never do it on that level. I'll never be on that particular level. So I got to stick to something that I'm used to, but at least they'll inform me of whether or not I want to even have the figure in the first place, or if I want to, maybe I just want to cancel the shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look right. I'm just canceling. I mean, that's what happened with, you remember, Brendan, the whole, it was at the ancient one from, and I saw the ankles on that. I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. I canceled that thing the next day. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing that. But it does help you out. Like even like when we, the Proxima Midnight, I saw that. I was like, oh, hell no, those arms. So I was like, yeah, I'm just canceling that right away. So yeah, they do help, and they are extremely informative. So I would definitely say that. But hey, I got to dip out. I got a client here. I got a Skype call to make as well. So cool. Thanks for having me here, man. As always, for jumping in. Definitely a great show. Alan, good to see you too. Shane, thank you for having me here. And Brendan, stay butt naked as always. Stay butt naked. Just not on the show, but stay butt naked.
That you know of.
PJ13, PG13. So what do you think, Brendan? Like, I presume, like, look, if you're in the game, you watch a few reviews. So, like, how do you feel about them? Do you feel you actually, for the time you spend watching them, do you get any benefit? What type of reviews you like? What parts could be like, yeah, I don't need to see this. I don't need 20 minutes of articulation.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's nobody's opinion that I value more than my own.
I kind of got that from you. So it's what we love about you.
No. That's
fair.
To be perfectly honest, I consume very little 1/6 scale YouTube content anymore. I really just I don't watch that much of it. And I mean, the thing is, way before people have figures in hand to do a review, most of us have already kind of pulled the trigger or not. Most of there are some that you hold off on. You're not getting every figure. There's some that you hold off on, and you're gonna wait until it actually releases, and then decide based on the final product if you're gonna get it or not. But even then, in those situations, I'm more looking at the final product pictures and using my own judgment rather than waiting for somebody on YouTube to do a review of it. If I'm not interested in a figure, I'm not going to watch content around it. If I am interested, like I've either already decided I'm going to get it, or maybe I'm just going to watch a YouTube review or video of it. Honestly, sometimes I just mute them. And I just look at the figure and I make the determination for myself based on how it looks. But if I do watch and listen to somebody's opinion on it, either, if I'm, friends, like I'm friends with Ryan from Jetta Patrol and stuff like that, but more often than not, we'll be like texting, messaging back and forth, talking about it. Like, so I already know what he thinks about something, before he even puts his video up. And I know if I agree with that or not, because that's the thing. I think people don't take enough agency upon themselves. They kind of want to blame like a content creator for, oh, you convinced me to get this and it turned out it sucked.
Yeah, I 100% do not buy that.
Watch a video.
And
but just because you're watching it doesn't mean you have to agree with the person and what they're saying.
You made a choice. You made a choice who you bought it from. You made a choice.
Exactly. You can watch it and somebody can point out something that they think is a drawback, that they think isn't good, and I can watch that and be like, I disagree. I think that looks great. I think that's amazing. Or the flip side, I can see something that they are touting as the best thing since sliced bread. And now I look at it, I'm like, I think that's garbage. I'm not gonna jump to, oh, they're lying, they're shilling, they're trying to sell this, or they're trying to get more clicks or something. To me, it's just like, I disagree with them or I agree with them, but I can make that determination. I'm not coerced into a purchasing decision based on whose video I watched. I pulled on my big boy pants this morning, like I do every day, some days, and so
hopefully now.
but so that you know what I mean, like, so, but I got really burnt out on the interactions between YouTubers, but then also just the way that people on Facebook and on YouTube and in comments and things like that were going at content creators, for the content that they were choosing to create or the opinions that they offered in their videos. And people I seem to want to take less responsibility on their own shoulders for their own, purchasing decisions, or just like, hey, look, it's okay. Turns out we disagree. You like something and I don't, or vice versa. There's nothing that's necessarily nefarious about that, but I just kind of got soured on the whole vibe. So honestly, I tend to just talk more with my friends, either messaging, texting, FaceTime, call, message on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, talking to my friends about, hey, how does this, how's the articulation on this, or the ankle stable, something like that, talking to people that I have formed friendships with and that I trust, rather than, I have to watch every review about this figure to see if I want to get it or not. Most of the time, before the reviews are live, I know if I'm going to get it or not. Yeah. Sometimes you buy a figure and then you're disappointed with it. You're like, oh, wow, that's really kind of lackluster. And then other times, reviews, somebody mentioned Cable before. I like the Cable figure. Yes, he's kind of skinny, but when you have the poncho and everything on, he doesn't, then I think he's perfectly fine. So some
the
people...
blogger photos didn't know justice there.
Yeah, Ray from Rise of Skywalker was another one. Pictures that were online looked atrocious. You got it in hand. It's like, this figure is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love it. Like, think what you want about the movie. The figure is great. So sometimes, the reverse happens where people skip something because reviews were bad, and then later on they find out that it was really good, and now they're like, man, now I've got to spend $500 on the aftermarket because these guys told me it was bad and I didn't buy it. It's like, well, you chose not to buy it. Like, you can't blame them for giving their opinion. So I just think that I don't consume as much of the 6 scale content anymore, but if I do, I'm consuming it as an adult. I'm a discerning individual where I'll decide what I agree with, what I don't, make my own opinion. And then if I'm bummed with something that I bought, I'll sell it or, whatever, but you live with it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. For me personally, I love watching reviews. I watch everyone's reviews. I think the likes of say Justin or Dante or Ryan, they often take the hit for us, so a lot of us don't have to, you know what I mean? So if there's the 2 reasons, besides the fact that I enjoy the reviews, I'll usually watch a review for 2 reasons. 1, I've got the figure paid off, I know it's coming, and I'm just excited. I'm just excited. Yeah. Or 2, Catwoman, perfect example. There's a few things about it that I'm a bit are they going to fix? What's the likeness going to be like? Are they going to fix it? Is it going to be the same pleather and I'm going to have to deal with that peeling? Things like that. What's the base going to be like? Is the paint that softened? So that's why I'd hold off in that case, and I'm watching to do a bit of recon and see. But like you said, it's not the person's necessary opinion that I want to hear. It's more like, I want to see all the accessories. I want to see what the base looks like. I want to see what the head sculpts look like. To an extent, I want to see some of their articulation, but I want to know if it looks like what I think it should look like. If the representation of it is close enough to the likeness of the character.
Yeah. And looking for a balance of information and just entertainment because you like the hobby and you like the figures. And if you're watching stuff for that reason, all the more power to you. Watch as much as you can possibly consume. But if you're looking for content to then be able to put responsibility on somebody else for what
no,
they said, then
no,
it's just like,
not
don't do
at all.
that.
I have never, in my head, going, I've never watched a review where I'm like, I'm definitely getting this figure. I'm only watching this because I'm excited. And then the person said they didn't like it and they changed their mind. You know what I mean? And I've never actually seen photos of a figure like final release product going, oh, that's awful, I'm not going near that, and then watched a review in it and been like, suddenly I'm enabled. Never happened.
If you can swing that easily, then you probably shouldn't be collecting Hot Toys.
I've been on a knife edge before and I'm like, oh man, that looks amazing.
Yeah, we all
and I do collect that line, but I don't know, do I necessarily need that character? And then it's just, I see it posed in a few different ways and I'm like, well played. And I'll give them that. But that's like when something you're like, oh, I want this, but I'm not sure, can I commit? And it's just like teetering. Like, but the likes of like, all those like day one reviewers, they are doing a service, in my eyes, doing a service because they're showing you what the thing actually looks like. I personally don't buy this argument of, oh, you have to see it in hand. I don't know. I know there is, it's having it in hand is the ultimate, but like, I've never like seen a figure that, on a review looks like a 5 out of 10 head sculpt, and then I get it and it's like, oh, it's a 9 out of 10 in hand. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't happen. Like, there's enough HD footage going around there, or 4K or whatever, that you're like, you have a fairly good idea. It might be marginally better or marginally worse, but like the low-key up there, I have it up there. I love it. But that head sculpt, I said it in my review, you take off that helmet and the likeness of Tom Hiddleston, you have the helmet on, it does increase, but it's still never going to be a 10 out of 10, still never going to be a 9 out of 10. It might be a 7 on a good day, but that's just being honest. I still love it, but that's
it's about presence too, because not every head sculpt is like, we've come to expect like 9 and 10 out of 10 for every release, and that's just not feasible. They're good, and like an 8 is okay. Like it's all right that an 8 happens here and there.
There's numbers in between 1 and 10. I mean, apparently.
Now we obviously want to be on the higher end of the spectrum.
Yeah, of course.
But I've never been like, oh my god, that looks like the worst head sculpt ever, and then I watch a video and be like, oh my god, I'm sold. That's the best thing ever, and then get it, and I'm like, oh man, it was the worst head. Like, if you're ping ponging back and forth like that's too easy, and you just have to be able to make a decision for yourself. Watch it for entertainment.
That Loki, perfect example, because when I look up, it's like the silhouette with the helmet with the horns and the outfit, the tailoring's improved, the scepter has the blades, the package as a whole, it's 100% Loki. And even from here, I'm like, yeah, I can see Tom Hiddleston in it, but I said in my review, like, you get up close, it's like, even with the helmet on, it's not like a 10 out of 10. It's maybe a 7 out of 10. With the helmet off, it's significantly lower. But I knew from watching, maybe not that first photo we saw, which was up close and personal, which really didn't do it any favors. But from the other photos and from the reviews, I knew, it's not all the way there, really. So,
but here's the thing. Yeah, maybe it's a 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you put him in a display with 2012 Cap and the Mark 7 and Hulk and Black Widow and suddenly you've built a display where that 7, all you're seeing is the big picture now, and you're like, that 7 looks like a 9 now, because it's just like this whole display just gives you the goosebumps from the Avengers movie, and you're like, this is amazing. I'm okay with that. Like, people will look at something in isolation rather than realize, like, all right, you know what, that maybe, like, I had the Proxima Midnight that Lael mentioned. It is not a good figure, but I have it, and I didn't get rid of it because I was like, you know what, but I put her in the back, and I have her and Corvus Glaive and Ebony Maw and the Black Dwarf. I have them around Thanos, and she becomes part of the larger picture. And I'm not worried about, it's not like I'm gonna, everybody who comes by my house, I'm gonna be like, here, look at this figure individually, here you go, what do you think? You know what I mean? So it's about setting the atmosphere and the display, and if you can do that, then a 7 or an 8 instead of a 10, like, it can still be doable. Now, if you don't want to buy that, that's fine, But when people give their honest opinions on, on these day one reviews and stuff, it's like people love to hate them, but they would be so mad if like people like Ryan or Justin just stopped creating content. They would be really like, they won't admit it, but they would be really mad if the people who are getting most releases day one stop doing that. Because then they would have to start owning their own decisions.
Or going blind.
I had Ryan on the show on Visions a few weeks back. I really enjoyed the conversation because I've been a fan of the channel for a long time. But I just like his attitude. Like, one of the questions, like how do you deal with salty comments? And it was just the way he put it across. I was like, yeah, man, right on, good stuff, folks. Thank you so much to 50 people in the chat. If you liked or enjoyed the content, make sure you hit the like button and click on subscribe to One Six Figure Focus if you like the content and you haven't done so already. And if you did not enjoy the content, then don't subscribe.
So hit the dislike button twice.
Yeah, there you go. So Alan, the 6-scale gallery. Were you going to be on Collector's Lounge again this Sunday or?
I'm working this Sunday actually, so I don't think I'll be able to make it. Taking pictures of some cars, but I'm not going to be able to make it, unfortunately.
But you have your own. You obviously have your Instagram at the 6-scale gallery.
6-scale gallery, and I've literally just posted a little about 30-second teaser for my in-art Joker showcase.
Brilliant.
I know, stuff. Brendan, you're a big video guy. Please don't judge me. I love your content, by the way. Your wedding stuff is.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You're both in the biz, aren't you? You're like a fashion photographer, and but Brendan, it's more videography you do, Brendan, is it?
That's a term that I loathe when people say videograp's, especially when they say videography. Like,
right, what am I supposed to call you?
I don't know
what's the correct term?
I mean,
media mastermind.
A lot of people, mastermind. I like that. A lot of people say like videography, and I just kind of sure, that's it. But more what I classify as like brand cinematography. So in addition to doing like wedding films and stuff, my main business is working with different brands, like Boston Scally Company, actually. All different kinds of brands, from tech to apparel and stuff like that, doing a range of cinematic content for them. So that's just, brand cinematographer is kind of like the fancy, term that I use, but
it's fucking awesome.
Thank you. The little behind the scenes that you sent us of what you were doing with the Joker looked great too. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I need to upgrade my camera. To be fair, like I haven't got like a 4K. I need to get like a mirrorless thing at some point.
Upgrade lights first. Always lights first. The camera body stuff there are new cameras coming out. Light is you can make something with a horrible camera and great light look better than you can a $10,000 camera with crappy light. So always go light first.
Good stuff, guys. Thanks very much for joining. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to everyone in the chat there. So I think it's definitely bedtime for me. So we're out here. See you guys.